Alright, all you listeners to the madness, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans out there tonight, welcome back to Under the Radar. And you know, I really wish this show did take place during the 5 golden rings for the 12 days of Christmas, mostly so I can say it was the 5 golden rings of madness. But hey, 4 calling birds of madness works too, so does the 3 French hens, the 2 turtle doves, and the partridge in a pear tree that we will replace with madness in a pear tree if we possibly could. Yeah, because you know, madness thrives here for Under the Radar. But besides all the madness that we're planning on bringing to your Christmas holidays, I think it's time for us to go ahead and check out what happened during the final pay-per-view for 2019 and for the decade for WWE, only known as Tables, Ladders, and Chairs from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And yes, once again, Maestro, I figured out where the pay-per-view took place because it's home of the Vikings. And there will be Vikings that will show up later on the night during the pay-per-view. But I digress, because the first match to take place on this said pay-per-view would feature none other than Humberto Carrillo going one-on-one against Andrade Cien Almas. And during this match, action would go back and forth, and you would even see Humberto Carrillo pulling off a beautiful Acai moonsault during this match for a 2 count. And you would even see Humberto Carrillo doing what he did on Monday Night Raw last week by meeting Andrade Cien Almas in the corner with a beautiful pinpoint drop kick, actually cutting him underneath his eye, and it would get worse during the match because his eye would start to swell up, but that would not affect his performance, because in the later going to this match, folks, Andrade would be able to counter back with a very beautiful double foot stomp on the outside of the ring on the, I guess, apron and technically the stairs to Humberto Carrillo to try to take him out during this match. But unfortunately for one Andrade Cien Almas, yeah, that was not effective at all. But what would be effective during this match and would close the match out would be Humberto Carrillo doing a beautiful inverted Frankensteiner, and I do believe some form of a poison Rana from the top rope to one Andrade Cien Almas, leading into another beautiful Ese Rios-like moonsault from the top rope for Humberto Carrillo to once again win against El Idolo via pinfall. And after the match was over, it looked like a little bit of trouble in paradise for both Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas when Andrade decided to walk away from one Zelina Vega. Man, that's not good for Andrade, because if he didn't remember back in NXT, he wouldn't be NXT champion if it hadn't have been for Zelina. So, walking away from her, something wrong with him. And for the first official match to take place during TLC, it would be none other than the New Day going one-on-one against the Revival for the Tag Team Championships in a ladder match. And this would be announced on SmackDown prior to Music Village, so we didn't even have an idea that it was going to take place, neither the Revival. And by the way, before the show would even start, the Revival would get in the face of Booker T, threaten to bring back Harlem Heat, and say that they're the best tag team in the world, give us those Hall of Fame rings, and we're gonna be 4-time champions by the end of the night, top guys out. And my sister would be right in the corner of my brain telling me, what did I tell you about showboating? It will cost you during a match. And even though the Revival did look good during this ladder match, not only balancing and counteracting Kofi Kingston's extreme parkour and aerial activist-like skills with not only a shatter machine, but even using the ladder as a London bridge to close and squeeze him in between the apron over and over again, and was even able to take out the powerhouse Big E by his leg getting caught inside of the ladder after falling off of it, and also causing Big E to get suplexed on the ladder and even splashed on the ladder after he tried to make some form of ladder contraption to take out Dawson during this match. But yeah, ultimately in the end, Kofi Kingston's acrobatics would come in to save the day, because he would jump up to the almost top rung of the ladder to meet Scott Dawson at the top of the ladder to beat the bejesus out of him, only for Big E to take Dash Wilder on a ride or a big ending of sorts from the top of the ladder, only for Kofi Kingston to use the championships to take out Scott Dawson and knock him off the top of the ladder through the ladder that got broken earlier tonight by Big E's big frame for the tag team champions to still reign supreme via title capture, I guess. And the fact that they actually went to those lengths to threaten Booker T prior to the show shows you that showboating before a match does catch up with you. Really does. Unless you're Paul Heyman or Brock Lesnar, then yeah, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Swear, that never truly doesn't get on my nerves. And the next match to take place on this said pay-per-view would be none other than Buddy Murphy going one-on-one against Alistair Black. And during this match that looked like some form of a kung fu movie gone right, you would not only see Buddy Murphy actually taunting one Alistair Black prior to the match, but also would see Buddy Murphy with a game plan to try to take out all the offense of one Alistair Black by slamming him into the steel steps, actually breaking his nose according to the announcers, and with all the blood that was coming from it, pretty sure it was broken. And even though Alistair Black's nose was broken, he was able to counter back with an Asai moonsault for a near fall, and you would even see him do a series of elbows and kicks to the face of one Buddy Murphy. But Murphy would counter back with a super kick in the corner and a disgusting Liger bomb for a near fall. But ultimately, this match would come to an emphatic blitzkrieg kicking in, with Alistair Black from out of nowhere doing two back-to-back Muay Thai-like elbows directly into the Black mass, catching one Buddy Murphy from out of nowhere with it, causing Alistair Black to make Buddy Murphy fade to black via pinfall. And like I said during Music Village and during one episode of the Tuesday night special, when it comes to Buddy Murphy, always bet on Black. And also, be careful who you decide to pick a fight with, especially with somebody with lethal strikes such as him. But I will give Buddy Murphy credit during that match that he was able to try to slow down the offense of one Alistair Black and was also able to get him in a brainbuster. Thank you for the reminder, Maestro. I keep forgetting how disgusting and nasty this match actually went, and you're always here for a reminder. Thanks. And the next match to take place during this said pay-per-view would be none other than the Viking Raiders going one-on-one against the tag team that answered the open challenge, none other than the OC of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. And before this match can even begin, I completely forgot that the Minnesota Vikings are big Viking Raiders fans, and as they were chanting war all throughout the arena, I guess that gave the Viking Raiders enough energy to actually take them out. But at the same time, let's just say this match turned from a pay-per-view about TLC, which was tables, ladders, and chairs, into a pay-per-view now about tables, ladders, and chicken. because at ringside, prior to this match even beginning, a couple of fans who got a seat upgrade, which was directly at ringside, in a table with a whole bunch of chicken, mashed potatoes, and everything else, all the fixings that apparently that Jerry the King Lawler could not stop talking about, most likely because it was an advertisement plug. But either way, during this match, ladies and gentlemen, action would go back and forth. Gallows and Anderson would be rolling on all cylinders, especially with the fact that Big Carl Anderson would be able to hit a double A spine buster on Eric during this match for a near fall. And you would even see them do a reverse 3D during this match for a near fall. But once the Viking Raiders got rolling themselves, Ivar would be able to hit an exploding suplex and even a modified crossbody, almost Mike Knox style, for a near fall. And you would even see the Viking Raiders take Carl Anderson on a Viking experience like no other, only for Gallows to break it up. And that's when the match would go downhill and all four people would go on the outside of the ring in a melee like no other, where Eric would get tossed over the barricade and Ivar would try to beat the crap out of the OC on the outside of the ring for the referee's count to reach a count of 10, especially after that suicide dive that Ivar did to both members of the OC, for this match to be a no contest. I never thought I would be able to use that line from Smash Brothers, but hey, today's the day. And in response of this draw game that would take place, unfortunately the OC would not take kind to that and would try to continue the beatdown of the Viking Raiders by also taking away the KFC table away from the fans who got the seat upgrade. And unfortunately, when they did that, the Viking Raiders would strike back by tossing away the mashed potatoes and all the fixins, and decide to put Carl Anderson through the table with a double powerbomb, truly ending this open challenge for the night, and to celebrate the night by pillaging the best tag team in the world despite a double countout. I never thought I would see a double countout in a makeshift tag team match, but since there was no other stipulations tied to it, yeah, it was bound to happen. Right. And the next match to take place during this said pay-per-view would be none other than King Corbin going one-on-one against none other than Roman Reigns. And I use that word one-on-one very loosely when it comes to this match because, yeah, let's just say that it was one versus all, almost like the Royal Rumble a couple of years back with Roman Reigns defending his WWE Championship against the entire Royal Rumble. Because not even before this match could begin and after Roman Reigns' pyro would finish off, Baron Corbin would send his loyal subjects that brought him down in that makeshift, giant, oversized thing that would be featured most likely at WrestleMania 9 to actually come down there and try to beat the crap out of Roman Reigns to no avail. And then when Corbin came running up the ramp with a steel chair, nope, would get hit out of his hands. He would get tossed off the stage, they would fight through the crowd, and once this match really started going, Baron Corbin's dirty deeds would know no bounds, because then he would decide to get a can of dog food during this match, hit Roman Reigns upside the head with it, and chokeslam him through a table, still for a near fall. Also would hit him with a deep six during this match, no good. Even would do his slide to the outside of the ring, back inside of the ring clothesline that I'm gonna officially call now off with your head, still no good. And once the big dog really started getting rolling during this match, who would show up? None other than Dolph Ziggler. And mind you, this was after Roman Reigns did a Samoan drop to Baron Corbin through the German announce table. And once Dolph Ziggler showed up, Roman Reigns would kick things into high gear with a kendo stick trying to take out everybody in his path. And then next thing you know, the Revival would come out. fresh off their loss for the tag team championships, would come out to help out Baron Corbin. And then that's when things really started to get ugly, because Roman Reigns would take it to another gear, decide to take out both of them with Superman punches, and once he had Baron Corbin in line and was about to hit him with that spear and go for that classic Samoan yell that he would do of, "Ooh-ah!" He would get hit directly in the face by a chair by Dolph Ziggler, then with a zigzag, then with a shatter machine, and then the end of days on the steel chair that was thrown directly in his face for Baron Corbin to win this match with the help of, 15 security guards, 2 members of the former tag team championships, Dolph Ziggler, and a steel chair, along with tables and a ladder that was somehow fixed into all of this via pinfall. Yep, that's the only way he was gonna win this match. The only way! And to fast forward from this situation, folks, immediately after the match was over and during an interview that would take place after the next match, Baron Corbin would get in a fight with Roman Reigns backstage, and they would fight and get other people involved in this melee that would take place backstage all the way through till the main event, where Roman Reigns, after that match was over, would spear Baron Corbin off the stage onto at least 15 security guards for the night to close out. But before the night could officially close out, folks, the next match that we have up would be none other than Bray Wyatt going one-on-one against the moneymaker himself, The Miz. And during this match, Mr. Rogers during this match, aka Bray Wyatt, would try to calm down The Miz, only for The Miz to have none of it and try to throw lefts and rights and uppercuts and everything that he had at Bray Wyatt during this match. It would even go to the playbook of one Pentagon Jr. via Cero Mano mode and decide to try to break the arm of one Bray Wyatt, for Bray Wyatt to go outside the ring, ram his arm into the barricade multiple times to relocate his shoulder, and then would still try to plead with The Miz. And Miz would get a 2 count during this match with a skull-crushing finale with Bray Wyatt still laughing and smiling and proving that what he said on SmackDown, that he made himself immune to pain, true. And after all of that little bit of a beating that Bray Wyatt took, he would take a little bit of an advantage on the outside of the ring by throwing Miz into the stairs and also almost getting Miz counted out during this match, only for The Miz to slide in at the count of 9 to receive a Sister Abigail for Bray Wyatt in his Mr. Rogers neighborhood sort of mode to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, Bray Wyatt from underneath the ring would take out his giant oversized comedy mallet with the approval of The Fiend on the Titantron and would try to take out The Miz once and for all, only for the lights to start to shut off and for Bray Wyatt to be ecstatic by saying, "He's here! He's finally here!" Only for the person to be here none other than a man in a red hood doing a beautiful Baisaku knee in the form of one Daniel Bryan, who would show what happened to him after The Fiend did whatever he did to him. And what The Fiend did to him, folks? Well, I got a feeling he sent them on a time machine trip all the way back to about 2010 for Daniel Bryan to have his old look back when he joined the Nexus and back in his NXT days. And for the crowd to chant yes while he beat the living crap out of Bray Wyatt, and before he could even hit him with the mallet, Bray would disappear along with The Miz, and the Universal Studios of Orlando, Florida's championship would be sitting there in the ring for Daniel Bryan to celebrate with it, and a possible match to take place during, I guess, the next pay-per-view that's gonna be on the lineup for next year, which is the Royal Rumble, folks, and I can't wait for it. And after that match was over, folks, The next match to take place on this said card would be none other than Rusev and Lashley going one-on-one in a tables match. And with Lana at ringside, I'm going to save you guys a good 10 to 15 minutes of will they, won't they go through the table, and just speed on through to the end. Because even though Rusev Day had Rusev supporters on his side, and Rusev was just about to exact his revenge, none other than Lana would hop inside the ring, jump on the back of Rusev. Bobby Lashley would take advantage of it by trying to spear one Rusev through the table, only for that not to work, only for Bobby Lashley to just pick him up and heave home through the other table in the corner on the other side of the ring, for none other than Bobby Lashley to win this match via pinfall. And I haven't seen Monday Night Raw yet, folks, but I got a feeling, and I bet my house that I got a feeling they're going to have a wedding on Monday Night Raw either this week, next week, or somewhere near next year for them to celebrate the fact that they're happily married, only for Rusev to come along and break it up. I got a feeling that's exactly what's going to happen. Really do. And the main event for the evening for this final pay-per-view of 2019 would wrap up with none other than the Kabuki Warriors going one-on-one against Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch for the Women's Tag Team Championships in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. And during this match, and my God, what a match, folks, the fact that apparently Becky Lynch and Charlotte has become professional bowlers during this match by not only using Asuka as a bowling ball to throw her through a table that had a whole bunch of chairs on it, but also back and forth playing catch with Kairi Sane on the announce table, throwing her back and forth from table to table. But you also see them throw them into the barricade on a multitude of occasions, and would even see one of them getting powerbombed through a table. But unfortunately for the team of Charlotte and Becky, Becky would spend the majority of this match tied up to a ladder, thanks to the craftiness of one Kairi Sane being a former ship captain and doing a captain's knot to make sure that she didn't move anywhere, making it a handicap match that Charlotte Flair had to fight on her own. But after Becky Lynch would get cut loose, Asuka would pay for it in the form of a New Jersey jam through a table, almost the same way that Lacey Evans took one at Extreme Rules previously this year. And to make matters worse, after taking out her, then they would make their way to Kairi Sane by letting Charlotte do a disgusting powerbomb to her through a table. But unfortunately for the tag team that looked to be tag team champions during this match, in the closing moments of this match where Becky Lynch was just about to grab the gold, the Kabuki Warriors in the early going of the match had a rope tied to the ladder itself, only for Asuka to take full advantage of it and just go yoink and pull the ladder right from underneath Becky Lynch, causing her to fall, crash, and burn to the ground, and for Kairi Sane to climb up the ladder broken in half after being put through tables to grab the said championships from the top of that rung and to still retain their tag team championships and go out on 2019 as a champion via capture of the championships. We still don't know a term for it, but hey, they won and Becky and Charlotte unfortunately lost. And join us next time, folks, when we come into your homes for the first pay-per-view of 2020 in the form of the Royal Rumble that will take place on January 26th of 2020 from Houston, deep in the heart of Texas. And I love Texas. And with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music, grab a glass of water, and when we return, we'll be back with more madness than you can shake a Geiger counter at right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.